Hello Linux fans, Rob here, and thanks for watching Linux Quest. Today we have Elementary OS version 0.4 Loki, and I'm really excited to cover this distribution. I've never installed Elementary OS. I've read about it, I've seen remarks, I've had requests to check this out, and so I installed this last night on a new test system. So before we get into Elementary OS and what it's all about, I just want to let you know that this is running on an 11.6 inch screen, and it's a modern netbook. It's an HP Stream. You can buy this netbook for $189 online. It has 2 gigs of RAM. It's got an Intel Celeron processor, and it's got not even it's a solid state drive, but it's the slow, I think it's MMC drive. It's certainly not a fast SSD drive. So it came pre-installed with Windows 8.1, had been updated to Windows 10. This was a computer that my daughter used, and she's been upgraded to a full-fledged nice Dell laptop. And so at any rate, needless to say, Windows 8.1 and Windows 10 did not run well on this system. It barely got by, and then with a few Windows 10 updates, it turned the system into a snail. And so I say all of that because adding Elementary OS to this netbook has breathed new life into this thing. It runs great. We're going to dig into all of the unique features of Elementary OS. I'm so glad that I listened to fans watching my videos who said, check it out, try Elementary OS. I'm really glad I did, because what I see here reminds me of another distribution that I recently did a video on, which was Peppermint OS. And what I mean by that is that the devs here have put a lot of time into cohesive look and feel, and they've got their own applications. So let's just go ahead and step into that. So Elementary has their own apps, and a lot of these apps are simplistic in use, but they also have a very similar design that allows you to jump right in and get a feel for how everything works on this OS really quickly, because of where they place the controls and how everything looks, again, cohesive. So let's just jump right in here. This is your application launcher. So you'll see a very minimal desktop, kind of reminiscent of, I'm going to say, Chrome OS in some ways. Very clean. So you launch into this default look for your applications. Now this is a very minimal OS as far as the applications that are pre-installed are concerned, but the apps that are there are very high quality. We'll start with their own App Center. This is something they put a lot of time into, and I believe according to the release notes, this version of Elementary OS was under development for about a year. So they also have their own desktop. So what we're seeing here is their Pantheon desktop, and again, a very simplistic design, very simple and easy to use. But I'm not going to overstate that, because I think after just a day's use, this is certainly an OS that you could use as a daily driver, and you could turn this into quite a powerful system with still having and not losing the simple interface and design. All right, so let's jump into App Center, and this is something that they have worked on for this particular release. And bam, immediately you are presented with, I think, just a beautiful App Center. Very easy to understand. You've got, nice colors. Each icon is different, so it's easy to go in and spot, accessories compared to Office. And I think it's just beautiful. And then if you click in, we'll go into Office. You'll notice a nice selection out of the gate. There's LibreOffice, and LibreOffice is not pre-installed, and we'll talk about that some. Now let's go in and choose something. Let's choose AbiWord. Now here you are presented with a nice, large, clear image of what this application looks like, and you are presented with a large description of what this software is about. And so, elementary team, I just want to applaud you for this. This is the kind of thing that we need to see more of in distributions, because a new user who jumps into this, they're going to spend some time. They're going to be using, the internet to research, hey, what's this app do? What's this app do over here? Because this is all new to them. And, I could present this operating system and this app store to, a first-time computer user, and this would be very informative for them. This would be something that, a 13-year-old could read and say, hey, okay, that's what this does. And I want to back up a minute too. You named the app exactly what it should be called, which is App Center. And I say that because there are distributions where you access the software through something that is named something that has nothing to do with software. So a new user would see that and skip right over it because there's nothing there that says app. Anyone who has used a phone, a smartphone, or a tablet, or a computer at all is going to understand App Center. So good move. So we'll jump back in. We'll go to Office. And again, if you click on a particular application, it'll take it a minute. You'll see a description and a photo. Now watch this make a liar of me here and not pull up the photo. Let's try another app. It may just be that image. There we go. So great job here with the App Center. The other thing you're going to find in the App Center is a tab for updates. Now that may not be apparent right away, and I've noticed that when you launch into the App Center, even though there is an update, it doesn't take you right into updates. It takes you first into the categories, and then it's up to you to click on updates. And I left this update here as a matter of fact just so that you would see that. So let's minimize this so you can, you notice also the close command is on the left, so there's a little muscle memory issue there for me. I'm used to having an X here on the right, but I've kind of gotten used to it over the last day or so and quickly know to go there to close things. But to minimize a window, you right click on the window bar and then you can minimize that. And you notice when we minimize something that it moves down to the plank here at the bottom. Now I want to point out this illustrates that there is an update. Had I not cleared it up here in the notifications, you would have also seen notification there that there is an update. So that is very intuitive. You can tell there's been some thought put into this, and the way the Update Center works is also a new feature, and I want to get into that and show you that. There's a lot to see here in Elementary OS, which really surprises me because you read about distributions and you think, okay, that's just a simple clean interface design, and that just means there's not going to be a lot to look at maybe, and never judge a book by its cover, and I would say never rely on all of the reviews that you read. Although Elementary OS has a good following and gets good reviews, I don't mean that. I just mean I'm surprised by the amount of thought that was put into this OS. It's evident from the moment you start using Elementary OS that there's been a lot of thought put into how everything works. There's been a lot of thought into let's keep it simple, but at the same time, let's make the interface all work together in a way that that gives the user, I think, a really, really nice experience. So, all right, let's go from here. So if we wanted to update, we could update that. Let's look at some other applications. And again, these are applications that the elementary team have either designed from the ground up or have taken other pieces of software and evolved into their own Elementary OS apps. The calendar, for example, I know they've spent a lot of time on the calendar. And I'll say that there's been a few glitches here and there with some of these apps. So for example, the App Center, there have been times when I'll click on a category and there's a few second pause. So that caused me to double click. And then I found the same thing with the calendar where this test event should be showing up here, but it does not. Initially it did. And so I've just noticed a few little quirks here and there. Let's open up the test event because I want to show you again. Here you have very easy to understand, fill in the blank for title, date, comments, and then here you can add location if we had contacts installed, if you wanted to add a reminder. And I'll say this, I've added this reminder before. I've clicked Save Changes, and then I've gone out and come back in, and for whatever reason that reminder is not there. Let's see if it's there. See, the reminder's not there. So maybe there's some work yet to be done here. You know, I clicked Save Changes. I don't know what else I should do there. So maybe that's something the team could look at, why that's not saving, and it may come in a future update. The overall design of the calendar, the controls which match all of the other applications, just make this very intuitive. It looks like it's supposed to be a part of the OS. It doesn't look like they've pulled in some third-party app and plopped it in the distribution. And so, you know, just really pleased with seeing that. So we'll close this out and move on. We'll look at the rest of the apps. I added GNOME Player. Camera is one of their apps. I added Cheese Webcam. The Mail, which I'm not going to launch into because I set up Gmail just to see what it was all about and how it worked. The interface is very similar to their other apps. It's a very clean design. I was able to go in and set up Gmail with just a few clicks, and I believe this was Gary Mail that they have tweaked into Elementary OS to make it fit with the rest of the operating system, and they have succeeded there. It's a very nice, clean interface and layout. So another Elementary OS app is Music, and we'll launch into that. Unfortunately, I do not have Music installed here on this system, but I just want you to look at this clean design. You've got an equalizer down here with lots of options. Okay, you know, what do you need in a music app? You need to play music, in my opinion. You need to be able to go in and transfer songs easily, categorize songs easily, and an EQ really helps. You know, I've launched iTunes, and I look at iTunes and I'm like, goodness gracious, people really deal with iTunes day in and day out? Are you kidding me? You know, I look at this, it launches up, nice clean interface. You've got the basics here. So I think job well done. Your interface, again, matches the other apps, and you just immediately feel at home from one app to the other. So I'm going to applaud them there for that work. The Photos app, this is my favorite. Not because of this photo. Initially, this was a photo of the show Elementary, so I thought that was fitting, was to pull that photo in of Elementary, and I had cropped it earlier. I just want to point out that this is what a simple photo app should be. I don't know if this was developed from the ground up for Elementary OS or if this is derived from another application, but I think this is exactly what a photo viewer in a simple format should be. You pull in the photo, you can work with raw photos, last import, and then here, this is what I love, they have simple photo editing tools here. Okay, now this is weird. Let me maximize this. Okay, there we go. I must have done something wrong there because it didn't have all of the controls. You've got rotate, flip, crop, straighten, red eye removal, adjust photo color effects, and then automatically improve photos. So you saw a change there. The crop tool, as soon as, there we go, there's the original image. Let's take that back. So as soon as I click the crop tool, you notice a pop-up window here, and you have options. Lots of crop options. So let's just go unconstrained, and we'll click crop, and there we have it. It's fast, it's fluid. You've got a zoom mode. This is the way a photo viewing app should be. Simple, clean interface, easy to get in and do some basic photo edits. A+, guys, A+. If you built this app from the ground up, great job. happy to see this in here. So if you're someone who deals with a lot of photos, maybe you take a lot of photos on your phone and you want to do a quick import and you want a nice way to go in and manage these photos, this app would be a joy to use for that whole process. All right, so let's move on here. And the, let's see, let's pop over. And I'll point this out. Clean interface, easy design, slide from one window to the next. And these 2 pages, that's it as far as the apps, and I've added a few. So they have their own terminal, and then the other app that is an elementary app is videos. Now the only thing that kind of threw me here was all of the built-in elementary apps have kind of a off-white or gray background and frame. And for whatever reason, videos has this dark frame. And I thought about it a minute and I'm like, wait a minute, was that done on purpose? And I think it was, because if you're watching a video, I think having a dark background makes more sense than, let's see here, I downloaded a video. I think having a dark background makes more sense watching a video, than having a light background. And as soon as this launches, it doesn't launch full screen. It doesn't launch in some weird mode where you only see 3/4 of the video. I've noticed with VLC Media Player from distribution to distribution, it can launch in really weird ways, and you have to go in and try to shrink the screen down, and then sometimes you have to watch full screen just to get the whole shot in of the video. And I don't know what's going on with VLC Media Player and its interaction with the OS, but here with this particular application, it launches just the way it should. You can easily maximize the screen and still see the full video. The player bar here moves out of the way as it should, and again, just I think a really nice application. There's not a lot of control here. You can toggle on or off subtitles and that kind of thing. But again, if you just want to jump in and watch a quick video, this is what you need. You don't need a long load time. You don't need a lot of controls. You just want to watch the video. So if you need more control there and need to go in and do things to the video that you're going to watch, there are other applications for that. So I'm just happy to see something that's built in that looks like it's part of the system that works so well. So again, A+, guys. We'll talk a little bit here in case I skipped over it. You've got the plank down here at the bottom, and as you hover across, you see each icon change slightly. It doesn't enlarge, but you get a little pop-up of the icon, and then anything that's minimized will be here on the plank as well. So you can really control everything here with ease. And then if you wanted to add an application, we'll go over here to categories. So what's not there? Photos. So if we wanted to add calculator, you simply right click and say add to dock, and now we have the calculator there. So even the calculator looks like it's a part of the OS. It's like it was designed to all fit and look very cohesive. This reminds me of Peppermint OS. Again, I'm gonna say it again. It's developers who have taken the time and put the thought behind what they're doing and the interface to make this a really appealing operating system for a first-time computer user in general. And I don't want to belittle the operating system, but for me, I could see this being loaded on an inexpensive netbook for a young 10, 12, 13-year-old's first computer. Because the way this thing is designed and laid out and is just clean, and they don't have access to a lot of settings to go in and mess things up. Or I think this would be really good for maybe an older parent or grandmother or someone like that who just wants to jump online and go online and go to Facebook or send an email here or there. This is a system that they could jump right into and learn quickly, and you don't have to worry about them changing settings by mistake and hosing the system up, because there's not a lot there presented to you. you stand less chance of doing that. So I'm just thinking about all the use case scenarios, and it's certainly been a joy to use on this netbook. It's breathed new life into this netbook. And I'm not saying that you couldn't use this for your full-time operating system. You certainly could. And maybe I've harped on that long enough, but I'm really impressed. All right, so let's look at a few other things here. Let's go into something that I think, again, they've spent some time on here, which is system settings. So nice categories, simple to see and understand. They've added parental control here, and this lends to my statement earlier about this being great for a young child's first system, because you could go in and set up parental controls. I'm not going to dig into that now. And something else I want to touch on, I want to point out the toggle switches here, and that's what you see throughout the system. This would lend itself, I think, extremely well to a touch interface. So I've got, as another test system, a hybrid laptop / tablet, and I could see flipping that screen around and using this is the best, I think, approach to a touch interface I've seen built into a Linux distribution. And you'll see it not only here. I'm going to jump out of settings here for just a minute. You've got everything you need here, down to the displays for monitor. I will say that's it's very simple, but the dual monitor setup was a little tricky. I noticed that I would reboot, and if the external monitor was plugged in, it would not show me anything on either screen. Then I could unplug the monitor, reboot, it would boot up just fine, and then I would plug the monitor in, and the external monitor would then take over. So maybe there's a little work to be done there. All right, so back to what I was talking about earlier, touch interface applies here as well. If you notice, do not disturb, I could just see easily being able to flip that switch by touch. Battery settings, again, right there. Bluetooth, right there. Just the thought of this for things I've struggled with, like touch interface. I've tried to go in and set up Ubuntu for touch interface, and what I found was it wasn't as good as I expected it to be, and found that KDE was actually just as good at touch interface as Ubuntu's Unity interface. This interface, I'm gonna load this on the touch screen and maybe even do a video on that, because the interface and I don't know if that's by design or, it looks to me like it was by design. So excited about that. Let's go into File Manager. Like I said, there's a lot here, and I want to make sure I don't miss things. And part of this is the excitement of something truly new. And I was this way with Peppermint OS, because when you see innovation in an operating system, it's for me that's awesome, and you certainly see it here. Now I will say that the File Manager is it's a basic file manager, but basic in a good way. I have yet to find any real deep settings menu in this file manager, and that's okay. We're going to right click on this folder. You've got an option here for colors, so you're not changing the folder color, you're changing the color around the text, as you see here. So let's right click and we'll change that color. I haven't found a way to zoom the icons in or anything like that. They're attractive icons. The interface here, it matches the rest of the OS. So you've got folder view, list view, and then 3-pane column view. And then on the left, your standard list of categories, pictures, video, so on and so forth, down to file system. And I want to say something about this. So most people are not, well, I don't know this for sure, so let me back up. If you are a file manager power user, then this is not going to be a file manager that you're going to dig, okay? or at least I haven't found the settings to go in and really tweak things out. So there's just nothing there to do other than use this as a standard file manager to get access to your documents and media, etc. But where I see that this shines is, again, if I were to introduce this system to a new computer user, or someone young, this is their first computer, or to my grandmother who, she doesn't spend a lot of time in the file manager, but when she's there, I don't have to worry about her going in and changing something that is so drastic in the system that I get a phone call and she says, hey, I can't find this anymore. So from that aspect, it's a good thing. And, and I don't have a rating system. And I think we've stepped through everything. I don't have a rating system. If you watch my videos, you don't see, a 1 to 5 rating system or anything like that. Here's their built-in terminal. But if I did, this would get a good rating. If I had a rating system, this would get a good rating because I see the amount of work and thought put into this distribution. Now, I haven't run this long enough to give you any type of idea about the I'm drawing a blank here. I haven't run this long enough to say, hey, it's a super stable system. I haven't run this long enough to get into many glitches. As I said, I've had a few hiccups when it came to the App Center. And let's just see here if this will launch quickly. All right, I clicked. You see that pause? So that has happened numerous times. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. So all right, I'm going to click. All right, less of a pause that time. But there has been a long enough pause that I've actually accidentally double-clicked on some things. So that's what I mean when I say glitches. I haven't found, I've not gone into a sudden reboot or screen lockup or anything like that. So, and I can't report. I haven't used it long enough to report on stability. I would just say based off of Ubuntu that, you're going to have a base of stability there. Pantheon Desktop, I think, is a great interface, especially for netbooks, for potentially for touch screen interfaces. And, I can just think about various use case scenarios for this distribution over others because of the thought and the design that went into it. I'm excited to see this, and I'm excited to spend more time with it on another test system. And so if you're looking for a clean interface, if you're looking for maybe a first-time OS for one of your children or for a grandparent or parent, something that they'll be able to easily use and understand out of the gate with less chance of going in and messing things up, then I'm going to say definitely give Elementary OS a look. All right, that's it for now. I'm going to wrap it up. If there's anything you want to know about this, I'm sure I'm going to be messing with this for some time to come. So just message me in YouTube, and I'll try to get back with you with anything maybe I've missed or anything that you have questions about. And I just want to applaud I think in their show notes they said, this has been in development for about a year, and I think it shows, and I want to applaud you for the efforts here that you've put into this. I think you've done some special work here and some unique work here to make this truly a different experience, different in a good way. So appreciate it, and we will check you later.